Hey, Anthony Tort here. Just in my kitchen, going to be talking about something that's really powerful. Also testing out some lighting and so forth. I think it looks pretty cool. Got a little beard going for the fall. Just came off of the summer. Amazing summer though. I mean, I know that everything's crazy with COVID and all this stuff, but we had a good time. But what I want to talk to you about, I'm extremely excited to begin a new series and really cover something. It's so powerful. Honestly, it's the biggest health discovery that I've made. I founded a company years ago that I call the LifeWorks Company. And really the idea was inspired because I found all these great principles in the Bible. I found scriptures and principles and things like that. So for example, in the area of health, I found something that said, "Beloved, I would that you would prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers." And so I've applied these principles, enjoyed, a pretty healthy life. I'm just like anybody else. I'm 53 years old now, and I have aches and this and that and everything else. But I love health. I'm also an entrepreneur. So if I find products that I think can fit into, both of those categories, I'm all for it. And so what I'm extremely excited about is to talk to you. Really, I think what I'm going to do is cover many topics. I'm not going to give you a number right now because I'm kind of planning it out, but it's going to be around gut health. And what I'm going to do here is just a quick little summary. This is really just sort of like a test run, but I want to give you a summary of kind of what I'm going to be talking about. And then I'm going to bring you different studies. I'm going to break down products and foods that you can eat related to gut health. And so, and also like I said, I'm experimenting with how the look is in the camera and so forth. And so from time to time, I'll switch around so this way you can see what I'm talking about. But one of the things that I've discovered is literally every system in your body is affected by your gut health. And I can't really say that more powerfully other than this, is to say that, whether it is that you care about your brain, you're thinking about your brain health, you're thinking about your heart health, you're thinking about your joints, your brain as far as the function of it, but also the emotional health, right? Your immune system, your cardiovascular system. The greatest discovery you're going to find, and you can mark my words on this, I think for the last 100 years, the greatest discovery right now has to do with the fact that your gut is the key to your health. One of the things that we've been doing really is we've been putting Band-Aids on top of things, right? So, someone wants to strengthen their heart, they take this product. If somebody wants to strengthen their brain, they take this product. And this, I've done similar, but I did learn about 25 years ago the power of whole foods, right? And the idea that, so instead of taking a vitamin, I should have had a little vitamin thing here, but instead of taking a vitamin that says, it's got 1,000 grams of, milligrams of vitamin C, it's got this much of vitamin A, this much of this or this much of that, I've learned to take whole foods, right? So you'll see that I have a company that I represent, but then also that I've been taking these kind of products for 20 years. I just happen to find the best on the market. This, for example, is a power shake. It's got whole grains. We have enzymes, probiotics, all these good things in a whole food supplement. So it's a food, it's not a vitamin. My point in saying that is that instead of focusing on this part of your body, this vitamin, that vitamin, I want to give you a challenge to discover that the greatest health is your gut health. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Did you know that serotonin affects your mood, right? You've heard of serotonin, right? So if you're feeling depressed, if you're not getting, you're not out in the sunshine, for example, people in Sweden and so forth don't get a lot of sun in the wintertime, right? In the winter here, you get the winter blues, right? Yes, there's vitamin D deficiency, but serotonin is that thing, one of the hormones that makes your brain feel good, your body feel good. But up until, just relatively recently, everybody, including myself, thought that it came from the brain, right? It's a brain hormone. But no, guess where it's produced? Your microbiome. It's so fascinating. So I began to look into this. Wait a minute. Your microbiome, your whole microbiome is a system that they've only really identified relatively recently. Your brain, your cardiovascular. The big trend in the last 3-4 years has been the endocannabinoid system. Everybody got so excited, and it is exciting. It's very exciting, the endocannabinoid system, where it basically is like your cells are like receptacles. And when you take CBD, which is something that was not allowed for years, it connects almost like, like an avatar, right? The movie where it connects with that system. Well, you have systems in your body that when you give them the right thing and you connect with it, your body lights up. It's your health is rejuvenated, right? So that's just one point to show you that we thought it came from the brain. It comes from the gut. Now, I began looking and looking and looking. There almost wasn't any health function that I couldn't find that was tied to the gut. So let me give you another example. So unfortunately, my father died when I was 10 years old of a heart attack, right? I never knew exactly what, the factors were, the related circumstances. I think there were some mental health issues and so on and so forth. But now I'm looking back and saying, just from what I know, I really think there were some gut health issues going on there. His weight would fluctuate. That's the thing is, as an aside, weight loss, I haven't even talked about that. Your gut health. Now you might say, oh, yeah, I know it's my gut. Sure, if I digest things. But no, we're going to talk more about it. There's a way to unlock, and there's a reason why you may not be losing weight. There's a reason why you might be holding on to weight. But let me just talk about the heart, because most of us think that, yes, this is related to weight loss and so forth. But it's much more powerful than you ever imagined. Let me just tell you that. But when it comes to the heart, so here's what happened. The company that I represent, I'm going to be talking a lot more about it, created a product that is called Biome Medic. It heals the microbiome. And we'll talk more about this. This is the craziest product you've ever seen, because let me just tell you, in future episodes and so forth, I'm going to tell you why this is going to be a bigger thing than even CBD, and we're the only company that has it. Only company that has this formula. But in a preclinical trial that we did with this product, they were astounded because their goal was to get rid of this thing called glyphosate. And that is something we're going to add to the conversation, is why are our gut microbiomes so messed up? Glyphosate is a toxic chemical that you spray on your weeds called Roundup. The groundskeeper sprays it. The groundskeeper for your golf course sprays it. We're being exposed to this. It's found in our water. Just trust me on this. I'm going to do some more videos. You're going to be blown away. This is like the untold secret that I'm going to be telling you is, when my company did a preclinical trial, double blind, all that good stuff, they found that, yes, the glyphosate was removed. We're going to talk about that. But also, the CRP, C-reactive protein, was lowered 74%. And so you say, okay, I do too. What is C-reactive protein? Now, some of you are more educated on this than I am. You went to your doctor, they tested your CRP. Okay, now in the past, they would test your cholesterol. Let's see how healthy you are, Mr. Tour. We're going to check your cholesterol. Hey, my cholesterol is too high. Forget about it. I ate too many pizzas, right? No. Your CRP now is what they take and they ask before anything. You know what I mean? It's kind of like your credit score. Everybody, hey, what's your credit score? How you doing, right? Now, it's your CRP. And many of you are nodding yes. Yes, I went to the doctor. They asked me about my CRP. C-reactive protein. What is C-reactive protein? The best way I can describe it, it's like a flag going up. All right. So if you're in some sort of competition and you commit a penalty or what have, a flag goes up, or the referee throws a flag, that's CRP. So the flag itself is not the problem. It's a signal to what the problem was. It's your body saying, blinking, blinking, blinking. And what it's saying is inflammation, inflammation, inflammation. Now, you've all heard of inflammation when it comes to my arm, my elbow, my neck, my beak. Forget about it. Inflammation. But what I didn't realize is that it affects the heart. Matter of fact, the reason they're testing it, it's the number one biomarker, number one indicator and biomarker of heart health. Because that inflammation messes up your arteries and can create the problems leading to heart attack. So we had this, our formulator, David Sandoval, created this amazing product. I'll tell you more about it, but I'm giving you a ballpark, and really there's no script here, but I'm here to tell you that I guess the point I'm trying to make here is the gut is more important than you ever thought. I'm showing you that it affected the serotonin in your brain. It affected the inflammation in your biome, your microbiome, which affected your heart. Now, I'm not going to go into every single thing. There are studies that I'm going to go over. For me, I'm an educator. It's just fascinating. I'll try to make these as interesting as possible. But the thing I want to encourage you to do is I want to encourage you to start focusing 100% of your health on gut microbiome. All right. That's what I would say is if you're going to focus one thing, focus on your gut microbiome. Now you're going to say, well, what about exercise? Yes, absolutely. Because what they found in a study, National Institute of Health, and I'll share more about these things, but they showed that exercise increases the prebiotic function in your biome. It's so fascinating, so exciting, because here's the way I see things. I've always said I'm a reader of the Bible. I believe in God, and I always say that God couldn't have made this so complicated, that I had to worry about, hey, I wonder, does this contraindicate with this? My doctor gave me this medication, that medication. Before you know, you got 20 medications, and you're like, a circus juggler. I got my thing for Alzheimer's. I got my thing for my heart. Does this interact with that? And it's so confusing. There's just no way that that's what it was designed for. But we're thankful for these discoveries that they found in nature. That some of them they just went on to make pharmaceuticals out of. But all of them have come from discoveries in nature. The big battle, and that's another conversation, is over the money. We all know that's where the patents come in and the fight and all that sort of stuff. And that's where they become synthetic and they're not so great for your body. You got to really be careful. And that's a whole nother conversation. But what I want to tell you is all of these focuses have to do with your gut. So exercise, yes. Why? Because you want big muscles? No, that's really not it anymore. It's because you want a healthy microbiome, right? Greek yogurt, because you want slim and sexy physique, a byproduct of a healthy microbiome. This is longevity. You know what I mean? At one point I was a bodybuilder. I wasn't in competition, but I was a bodybuilder, protein, the whole bit, and there was a stretch for about 20 years. I never missed one day. I stay in pretty decent shape. I try to do something every day. But now, beyond 50, it's about health. Now, look, if you're 20 years old, it's still about your microbiome. All right. I know people who have microbiome issues that they've had to deal with. One of the gentlemen that I learned under, Jordan Rubin, his whole story is around the gut, and I didn't really put it together. I took what he said and I applied it to my diet, but really the reality is he had a gut microbiome issue that he healed with some of the things that we're talking about here. So let me just hit this because, I really could go on. This is a fascinating topic. We're talking about the gut microbiome as being the number one thing that you should focus on in your health. Now, look, caveat, disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. Talk to your physician and all that. But the reason I'm saying this is just for educational purposes only is that I and others have discovered that, wait a minute, the gut is the number one thing because serotonin is produced in the gut, affects the brain. Inflammation happens in the gut, affects the heart. Number one biomarker, CRP, C-reactive protein. So if I can get this right, man, I can have a healthier brain. I won't be depressed. Maybe I don't need that antidepressant, right? Bingo. Maybe I don't need the acid reflux, medication, right? Maybe I don't need to be on heart medicine all my life, right? Gut microbiome. Now, what also happens is you have this thing called leaky gut. Now, I'm learning it along with you. But think about if you have, so we have a septic. We're out here in the country. If that septic breaks and those toxins leach out, that's not a good thing, right? What if they go back into my water? Not a good thing. So when you have toxins that your body's trying to get rid of, and they leach into your body, not a good thing. Leaky gut, right? Your villi are not strong enough anymore. They're not sealed, right? And this is where a healthy microbiome comes in. So many amazing things happen when you strengthen your gut microbiome. So I'm going to talk about two things, and then I'll close. As you can tell, I don't mind talking a little bit. It's very enjoyable when it comes to topics like this that can change people's lives, change their health. I'll talk about two things and close. One is going to be glyphosate and kind of all about that for a minute, and then what you could do. So here's the thing. This is like sort of the allopathic, the modern medicine ways. We say, okay, inflammation, so if I have inflammation or if I have a headache, take something, mask it. Oh my gosh, so I can get through the day, get to sleep, go to the next day. I've been there, I get it. But let me just tell you that because we're so busy and this, that, the other thing, we're not asking ourselves, why do I keep getting these headaches, right? That's the question we need to be asking, not just cover it, right? So I have inflammation. Oh, let's cover that thing up. You know what I mean? Forget about it. No, let's find out what it's coming from. So now we're digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's where David Sandoval, the creator of this particular product, Biomedic, and many other thought leaders are coming up with some amazing discoveries. But let me just compare for a minute. Like I love Jordan Rubin, and I'm sure he knows about this. He's talked about it. But a lot of people, including him, for example, have discovered that if you get these healthy organisms into your microbiome, it can recondition it and so forth, and that's great. So you guys have all heard of like prebiotics, right? Prebiotics, probiotics. So prebiotics are things like this there's certain parts of it that are not digestible that feed the probiotics. Asparagus is a prebiotic. It feeds the healthy bacteria, right? So you got to put the healthy bacteria in you. So like in the Norwegian countries, or the Scandinavian rather, they'll drink something like this, and we'll talk about why is this grass-fed, why is it non-GMO, why is it organic, and so forth. But these are healthy bacteria, right? So just think of it this way. This feeds this. Prebiotic feeds probiotic, healthy microbiome. but there's a lot of healing that has to go on and so forth, and we'll talk about that. But what was the problem? Why is it like this? And this is where the deeper question comes in, and this is where the new discoveries are happening, and they're so exciting. Glyphosate, soil conditions, all right? So that one toxin alone is found in 95% of food, 75 to 95% of the food, but they tested, and almost 100% of the people that they tested in America have glyphosate in their system. Now, glyphosate, and I'm going to do one whole video just on that, but glyphosate has been proven as a carcinogenic. One man won $200 million in a lawsuit against a company called Monsanto, which was bought by Bayer, okay, because it was proven that it was linked to his lymphoma, cancer. But again, just like the microbiome, there's studies that show that it affects the heart, weight loss, brain, so forth. They also found that this glyphosate affects the microbiome, all right, and attributes to things such as cancer, autism. They're finding. I'm not going to claim that causes it. I'm not a scientist or a doctor, but this is what they're finding, is that they're linking this one thing to so many problems. So imagine, all I'm saying is, if you can have a healthy microbiome, right, you can have a healthy body, right? It's going to get rid of toxins and so forth. And so, and I'm digressing a little bit. I don't have like a little script that I'm following, because one thing I was thinking of as I was making that other point was, what we didn't even talk about at all is the immune system, okay? That's the other light bulb moment is, wait a second. When I read it, I had to read it twice. 80% of my immune system is here. 80% of my immune system is right there. So it's unbelievable, especially today when you're talking about, the virus and so forth. If you can strengthen it, you're strengthening the immune system, the heart, you're losing weight, your brain's healthier, etc., and so forth. So this one thing called glyphosate is, if you can get that out of your life, you're going to be doing an amazing thing. It's so extremely toxic. It totally disrupts the active cultures. It was first patented as an antibiotic. So that's a whole other conversation. What affects the microbiome? You take an antibiotic, probiotic, right? So an antibiotic can wipe out a lot of the healthy flora, the gut flora that are in there fighting your fight, right? So you have to reconstitute it. But what if you're continually eating glyphosate? So I love the idea of probiotics, and some other companies even have, supplements and so forth, probiotics, prebiotics. But if you're continuing to eat this glyphosate, that's the number one problem. So that's where you want to eat organic, right? If you eat organic, for the most part, they've not sprayed herbicides on it. Now, again, another conversation, even organic can have some glyphosate in it. There's runoff, there's all kinds of stuff. It's in the air, it's in the water. People need to get rid of glyphosate, which is why I'm going to boil it down to everybody taking this product right now. But let me just talk for a minute about what you can do to really minimize it in your life. Organic is number one. Start doing that. Purify your water, right? Get it out of there. Air purifier, right? Get it out of there. Those are some things you can do right away. Now, start healing your gut with these healthy, and all I do is I just simply look for USDA organic. I look for non-GMO, genetically modified. This is where the glyphosate comes from. They spray it. They genetically modify the corn, for example. So this stalk is genetically modified, and they spray it. So let's say there's all these weeds around. It kills everything that's not genetically modified. This doesn't die. Oh, yay. I have this corn that didn't die from all this herbicide that I sprayed on it, but the herbicide is in the corn. Okay, one of the number one crops that have glyphosate. So like when you see companies, there's a company called Mission, Goya is doing it. They're getting rid of this, okay? So get rid of it in your food. Also reconstitute the probiotics. Kefir, yogurt, sauerkraut, kombucha, drink, and feed your probiotics. Isn't it amazing how simple this really is? I mean, just eat a healthy diet, but this feeds that, right? Now, what I do, which is so fun and amazing, is I found a company called Purium. That this is not a supplement. This is not a protein shake. This is food. And I'll actually demonstrate it for you. Just kind of fun doing it. I'll just have a little bit of, now let me just say what I'm doing here so it makes sense. One of the things that we've done, another conversation, great conversation, we have made out of coconut biodegradable packaging, right? So Power Shake is my favorite, but this month I ordered the Epigenius Kids. So my company came up with a product called Biomedic. I'll talk to you about it. It removes glyphosate, heals your gut. I'll do a whole show on that. But they put the Biomedic in the kids formula, which I'm not a kid, but this is going to show you that adults can have it. This Epigenius for kids is amazing for kids. It's chocolate. It's got the Biomedic in it. It's going to remove glyphosate. It's got the probiotics, prebiotics, but it also has like healthy fats, healthy vitamins from foods. But these are foods. So what this company has done is, and they also have it for dogs. So my dog is loving this. So the Biomedic is in its own pill, kids, and for dogs. So, but I'm talking about the foods that you can eat, right? So these are foods. We're talking about cereal grasses that grow. They juice them. So how many of you have juiced, right? You love juicing, but it's messy, takes a lot of work. I love juicing too, but what they've done is they have created, a proprietary method that is really different than anything I've seen. These are live foods that have not been heated above 80 some degrees. So there's still the live enzymes in it. And it's another video. I'll talk about how it's processed. But no other company has this. We're the only one in the world. Matter of fact, David Sandoval and Amy Venner Handy introduced it to the world. They invented the whole process. Oh, smells good. So anyway, these are foods, live enzymes in them. And if you could see that, put it in there. This has like spirulina, chlorella, wheatgrass. And actually, I put it in this container. I'm actually putting this. So kids normally have this. Your kids will love this. But you can know that they're getting the non-GMO. They're getting organic foods, healthy fats, healthy fibers, vitamins, not vitamins from pills, vitamins from foods. Okay? And then I'll mix it with, let's say, a green. Look at this beautiful, I don't know if you can, yeah, there you go. You can see it. The most beautiful, fresh-smelling green grasses. Alfalfa, oatgrass, spirulina, chlorella. These are some of the healthiest foods on earth, right? This is your new vitamin, right? These are dehydrated foods, right? And here's the crazy thing is I've taken products like this for years. There is nothing like this product. Here's why. You know, we could do scientific studies, all this stuff, and I'm going to share all that with you. Trust me. It's exciting. But beyond that, you know, if I leave this out for a few hours, it will stink after a few hours, just like food would sitting out. This is live food. I've never had a supplement or shake do that. I mean, I have shakes sitting in my cupboard that have been there for almost a year, right? This thing here is live food. So all you do, you know, you put it in there. And that's the other thing is, you know, we're talking hunters can use this, climbers, children. I mean, anytime that you need some good nutrition on the go. So you can actually put the powder in there and you can buy a bottle of water, carry it with you, whatever you like to do. But this is instant portable food. The other thing is it's got a 2-year shelf life. You know, some of us are concerned with the conditions of the world and, you know, your electric might go out. Who knows what's going to happen? But it's good to have some healthy foods on hand. So these store for 2 years. All right. So there it is. Shake it up. And again, I am replacing food that I normally would. So this isn't costing me anything. I know that I'm getting organic, non-GMO. There's no glyphosate in here. Now, there's an organization called the Detox Project. All right. We're the only one to get the seal, the golden seal. It's like Willy Wonka's golden ticket. We're the only one to get the seal that proves from studies that there's no glyphosate. 1, that's huge. But 2, the golden ticket, the gold standard is that it removes glyphosate. Oh my gosh, so there it is. We're the only product in the world that removes glyphosate. So, and I'm going to put the information below. I can give you $50 off, but I'm going to educate you as I'm educated on this. So here I am. And you're probably thinking, man, I'm so glad if my wife is here or my daughter, I'm so glad he drank something so he just stops talking. Let me take another sip. But what I just got there was healthy fats, fibers, vitamins. I got live foods here. Okay. So, but with this particular product, I'm also putting the Biomedic in my system. Prebiotics, probiotics. I'm healing the gut villi, sealing up my gut, removing toxins, removing glyphosate. And so that's a huge conversation. Thank you for being patient. I'm also testing my set, so to speak. I think it looks pretty cool. Anyway, I love you guys. You know, here's what it comes down to in the end is I would that you would prosper and be in health even as your soul prospers. I just got to tell you that when I discovered that was the greatest discovery of my lifetime. So I love talking about health and so forth. But what inspired me really was years ago when I said, oh my gosh, in the Bible, wait a second. It said that it wants me to be, you know, the Bible talks about being healthy. You know, I would that you would prosper and be in health. I'm like, hello, I'll take some of that. So, and then a lot of these foods are mentioned in the Bible. They used to eat, you know, cultured and fermented foods because they didn't have refrigerators, which is why they had healthy guts. So anyway, love you guys, and you'll be hearing more from me. God bless. I'm going to talk to you soon here.